Kit Mora was a non-binary teenager who went missing. Friends and family need your help. Where is Kit Mora? Are they still alive? Was there foul play? This is Unsolved True Crime.
Kit Mora to me is my little sister. She's the little girl who I watched grow up, both from, little kid to about 16 years old. The little girl who I watched grow up, both through word of mouth, the pictures, and in person.
What you're about to hear is her family side of the story. Lori Sue Nelson is suspected by Kit's family of causing Kit's disappearance.
Kit, when Kit was little, and that's really when I was a part of her life, every time Kit smiled, it lit up the room all the time, her smile made you smile. And the way that Kit would laugh, it always made you chuckle. Kit grew up in foster homes to a stable home and love, and then Lori. Kit has a good heart and is loving, loves animals, loves our siblings. Is goofy and funny. I guess I can't really narrow it down to who Kit is, but Kit is so many amazing things, it's hard to just put Kit in a category.
Kit Mora's life would be full of tragedy, abuse, and neglect, all at the hand of Kit's mother. Lori Sue Nelson would eventually have her children removed from the home.
Who was Lori Sue Nelson?
Lori was able to visit here and there was happy moments as well as bad moments. I grew up under Lori's care.
Malia Nelson is Lori's daughter. She grew up in the same home as Kit. She would tell us more of their struggles inside their childhood home.
From when I was a baby to 3 years old, and my dad got custody of me. And after 3 years old, it was just visitations here and there when my dad allowed it.
Lori would often abuse her children and deprive them of food.
When me and my brother were growing up under my mom's care, these are some of the things that we went through. We went through, getting locked in the rooms for hours at a time, only being 2 and 3, to 1 to 2. And when she wasn't there, when we hadn't eaten all day, we were allowed 2 Jell-O a day. Even if we had nothing else that day, if we had an extra one, we would get, beat. We would get slapped, popped in the mouth, spanking. She's punched my brother in the chest before. Those are some of the things that I remember. In the apartments, I remember having animal feces on the floor, beer bottles, her throwing parties. I don't think people take into consideration all the things that Lori went through as a child. I know that she was, raped, molested, all of those things. And people get mad when you don't mention those things. Or this is why I support Lori, because I don't believe Lori would do these things because she's had these things done to her. And I don't believe that's the case because I was pregnant at the age of 17 and I chose not to make all those choices. Somebody can change for the love of their children. Somebody can choose a different path and want to break a cycle. And that's not what Lori wanted to do.
Kit identified as non-binary and in Native American culture, two spirits.
What is two-spirit identity? While two-spirit can mean different things to different people, specifically, someone who identifies as having masculine and feminine spirit. Or it might describe a person's sexual, gender, and spiritual identity. Two-spirit is sacred and exclusively indigenous. While it's a relatively new term, it's an age-old concept for many indigenous peoples. Two-spirit people weren't just accepted, but revered by their people. They held prominent spiritual and ceremonial roles. Their identity was honored as a spiritual gift. Ironically, Europeans saw this as further proof that indigenous peoples were dangerously uncivilized. So two-spirit people were oppressed, and related customs went underground.
The family we interviewed claimed Kit wasn't accepted by their mother.
No, I know for a fact Kit was not accepted. Kit went from wearing hats, jeans, and a t-shirt to bangs, dresses, and posed in front of Lori's store that she had in Omak. There was conversations where Lori would say, I don't know why she wants me to call her Kit, and I feel like she's just fucking with me because I wasn't a part of her life, and that's probably why she's like this, and she'll grow out of it. I really don't like it. Like, those are some of the things that Lori have said. And then it would switch. Like, when I had asked Lori about Kit after the fact, that Kit was probably missing, after our contact was cut off in November, when I had talked to Lori in December, it was more of, oh yeah, Kit's doing good, still going through and stuff, but we accept her and we love her. But I had never talked to Kit after all those things that Lori had said before, and why did it all of a sudden change?
Another one of Kit's family members would go on social media to talk about Kit and their disappearance.
Kit was over here, they had always mentioned, like, they had never come out and said, oh, I'm non-binary, oh, I'm trans, they had never, said anything like that.
Kit Mora's sister Charlotte would shed more light on Kit's identity.
But you could kind of tell, there was a lot of questioning going on. Kit had dated a girl, she had never dated a guy, she had crushes on guys, but different things like that, and then one day they came out and were like, you know what, I'm asexual, and I was like, dude, I wish I was.
I wish somebody had told me that was an option prior.
Right,
I'm old, so it wasn't back then, but I wish.
To be more accepting of that. We were always trying to, do better and try to let them know that we accepted that.
Encouraging them to find themselves correct.
Exactly. And I had always told them, through everything, I was like, I love you. I hope that everything, you can figure yourself out, because I still don't know who the hell I am half the time. But Kit has severe depression and anxiety, and they have exhibited self-harming behaviors before. So it almost makes you wonder, with all of that pressure from Lori, if Lori maybe didn't do something, did Kit do something?
And then, knowing that they were transgender, I know that there were some text messages and some reports where Lori was quoted saying, I would beat the gay out of my child, and that she was forcing them to wear dresses and to dress girly, even though that was not what they wanted to be doing. I mean, I think that, that's maybe, I'm not saying that's why they didn't report them missing, but there obviously would have been other things leading up to the going missing.
Right. Well, if you read the social media posts from Kit, from Twitter, because I think that's all that we have is Twitter. And what we're kind of going off of for timeline wise, because they haven't had a Facebook in a very long time, since before that, which, whatever, Facebook kind of sucks anyway.
Let's all be honest. Sorry, guys.
So,
it's me on TikTok.
Yeah, they had posted, and everything basically outlines transphobia from Lori, from teaching, the smaller children, oh, you can't call Kit your brother because they have boobs. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but
you can, and a lot of man boobs out there, man.
Social media messages from Kit painted Lori as a transphobic parent. Lori did not accept Kit's identity. In one message, Kit identifies as a male.
Kit would be devastated by the death of their brother.
They were very upset. They had just spoken to the person that had done that, actually, and then it was, I think, a couple days later, they heard that had happened, and it was really just devastating for them, and I think that's part of what pushed them to go stay with their mother.
Giovanni Nelson would tragically take his own life on April 29, 2021.
Javante, pet him.
He was only 20 years old.
Yeah, they were, I can't even imagine. And then on top of, the love bombing and getting all these brand new gifts from, the mother that you just so desperately wanted.
So Javante, that was our older brother. He had went through a lot of stuff growing up, even after he had left Lori's care, abuse in foster homes. Kit told me that Javante would take beatings for her when they were placed in the same foster home. Javante is very protective, and everyone I've talked to knows Javante, knows that he's always kind of been sad. He's kind of been he was like that when we were kids. I don't know all of what he went through alone before I was born, but I can't imagine. After his passing, our grandma shared a story that when he was probably around 3, our grandma was left to take care of me and him. And I was little, I was a baby at the time. Lori had to go back to work, and I was a breastfed baby, and I was nonstop crying because I wanted Lori, and I wouldn't take a bottle. My grandma couldn't get me to take it, and she got tired and laid down and left me in the bed to cry. And she took a nap and said that when she woke up, that there was milk all over the floor. She had gotten up to ask Javante, like, what the fuck? And she walked in the room, and Javante was dipping his little pinky in milk and feeding me. And that's the only way that I would eat. And I think that just shows you right there how grown up Javante had to be when he was so little. And having to take on those responsibilities to think, adult couldn't think of that. Javante's like that perfect older brother, but he also felt a lot of pain from, our childhood and the things that he went through.
Always have wanted your mom to come into your life, and here she comes on this white knight horse,
Much as Kit had denied and always said, oh, I want nothing to do with my mom. I don't want anything to do with my mom. I never want to know my mom. I never want this. I never want this.
Of course.
And then, as they've got older and started experiencing their own mental health issues, and I would kind of be like, well, maybe if you reach out, maybe she's gotten better. Maybe she can help you through it. Maybe she can kind of tell you what some of her diagnoses are, and you can, go off of that and tell your doctor and be like, hey, so this is what my biological mother has. Is it possible that I have this as well? So that kind of had started that. And then Lori had reached out to them on Facebook and then asked them, oh, can I send you some money? Can I buy you something for your birthday? Different things like that.
Yeah. Very manipulative. Very,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start off with the shiny new things and
and then once I've got you here, I'm going to lock you in a room and have you babysit my kids and not go to school anymore and treat you absolutely horribly, because there are reports of, other abuse happening.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's not like it was like some great situation, unfortunately,
Kit's mother was known to be violent and caused great harm to Kit.
So what I can tell you about the stair incident was what I had heard, because I was obviously not there. There was blood on the staircase, and that's when Lori's mom had went and looked into the windows of the apartment. And I believe there was also an incident that somebody had reported saying, don't know if it's true, nobody can back it up, that Lori had gotten mad and somebody witnessed Kit being pushed down the stairs.
At the time that Kit was staying with Lori carried on a relationship with a man named Kenneth. Lori became convinced that Kit was secretly seeking a relationship with Kenneth. This is when Lori pushed Kit down a flight of stairs, breaking Kit's foot. The broken foot would go untreated. Text messages from Kenneth would reveal that he wasn't living with Lori at the time of Kit's disappearance. In one text, Kenneth even claims Kit ran away with someone they loved.
What happened was, a friend of Kit's, or Esmeralda's, had contacted me asking, basically, how do you get a hold of Kit? Well, funny story, I don't.
Right.
We don't talk anymore. We haven't been close in a really long time. I just, and they were like, oh, okay, well, do you know where they were living? And I was like, last I heard they were in Omak with their mother. And I gave that friend, and I won't say the name because they're a minor as well, but I gave that friend the information that I had of Lori's name. We didn't have an address at the time because my dad didn't know. So I was like, this is all I know. And they took it and ran with it. They went to Omak with their grandma and went to go find Kit, and they ended up going to the police department, and the police department reached out to Lori, and Lori was like, oh yeah, no, Kit ran away in April and with a boyfriend or girlfriend.
Me and our family believe Kit went missing in November of 21. And Lori later reported Kit missing, only because cops had came asking about Kit in April of 2022. And that's when Kit was labeled a runaway, because Lori had shared a story about how Kit left to Oregon with a girlfriend to going back to Yakima, where Kit was from, and a whole bunch of other stories. Things just never added up, and now we're coming up on April of 2023. And still trying to find Kit.
I from my understanding, what was said was like Lori was like, oh yeah, no, I was at work when they left. I had seen them packing, and when I came home, they were gone. And which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because why would you do that as a mother?
Yeah, like as a parent, why aren't you going to make sure that you know where your kid is?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's like, I get it. Like, if, okay, so say like Lori was like, oh yeah, okay, so they don't want to live with me anymore. Set something up then,
Yeah. Like,
Reach
you
out
make
to
sure the
people.
other parties involved know something, like.
Exactly. It's not just.
Or and at least as a parent, know who your kid's going with then. Like, all right, fine, you guys are finding your own way, you're going to go on your own, but at least have a name and a phone number to get a hold of you at some point.
It doesn't make sense to know nothing.
No, not at all. And then so what happened next? Yeah.
And then after that, I kind of like posted like the little screenshot on the page, but basically the friend had come to me and told me what they found out, and I was like, okay, that's weird. That doesn't sound like them. Why would they run away? Like, I've known them since they were 4 years old. Like, why? That doesn't sound like them at all. They wouldn't leave little kids alone. That was kind of like my first red flag, was like, okay, I know that they watched their younger siblings. Why would they leave the kids alone?
Yeah.
That's not like them. That's not what they would do, because, they used to help my dad with my small children. So I knew that, like, that's not.
It doesn't equal up.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And so I was like, okay, well, I started telling my mom. I think we had told, Megan had found out, because I had told basically everybody in the family. I was like, okay, listen, something's not right. Like, kid's gone.
Yeah.
We don't know where. I don't know what happened. Kid's gone.
Lori would stall on reporting Kit missing. Why didn't Kit's mom report them missing sooner?
I honestly believe that Lori didn't report Kit missing because Lori helped or made Kit go missing. Thinking no one would really look into everything the way that so many people have, especially Charlotte. I don't think Lori thought that she was going to get caught. I know for a fact our mother is capable of murder.
Charlotte would talk about an alleged assault Lori committed on Kenneth Diaz.
I was told that Lori beat Kenneth's head in, basically, and that he was essentially, like, not as mentally competent now as he used to be.
Both sisters believe Lori is capable of murder.
I feel like Lori has narcissistic tendencies. She's delusional, controlling. She lies a lot. She's very self-absorbed. And like I said, she just has kids to see what benefits she's going to get in that time and in that moment for those kids.
Kit was active on social media. Kit disappeared from social media, leaving questions still left to be answered. Before Kit went missing, they wanted to be identified as a boy. This is clear by their Twitter posts. Kit indicated their mother was transphobic. Lori never supported Kit's identity.
I mean, and most teenagers are pretty on their phones, so like,
Right.
to not be posting anything since November of 21 that's very strange. And then the school, come to find out at the school too, that they hadn't been going for quite some time.
Exactly.
Do you remember the dates on that?
So, a friend from the high school in Omak had said that Kit didn't really go to school often anyway, but they didn't see them after Christmas at all.
After Christmas break at all. And then it took them all the way until it was March or April to unenroll.
No, it was January 11th that the school.
Wow. Okay, so earlier.
They unenroll because they're not showing up.
Wow.
And when I spoke to the school, they said that, because I spoke to the guidance office, and they basically said, oh yeah, we tried to follow Becca Bill procedure, but we couldn't get a hold of the mom, and they're already old enough that they can make the decision whether or not they want to go to school anyway. So.
But even though no parent, no legal guardian, nobody had signed them out.
Exactly.
They just let them stop going to school. It was okay.
Yeah.
So that's like another part of the system they're kind of failing at the same time, which is kind of sad. Yeah.
And then you go into, their mom having said that they ran away in April.
Right.
And that, I don't know. So that alone to me is weird because that is Kit's birth month.
Right.
They were born April 22nd. So it's like, that's an easy month to remember. It's
almost too convenient.
Exactly. And then Kit being missing, you lead into the CPS case that has been opened, and Kit not even being mentioned in it. They didn't mention to anyone that the child had run away.
Right. So you're going through the CPS case, you're having your other children removed, and you don't even think to mention at that time that, hey, by the way, we're over here and I'm missing another child too.
Came so much out of anger. I was so pissed off. You know, obviously, if you look down my personal Facebook, the posts that I've made in regard to Lori and the whole situation. But, you know, I think a lot of it still stands strong because, yeah, I'm pissed off, you know, and it's like, I'm so angry about the whole situation. I don't understand it and it doesn't make sense to me. And it's like, I posted all of this out of anger and now it's getting seen and people are understanding the type of person that Lori really is. And they're understanding, like, not only does Kit need to be found and protected, but so do these smaller children.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really sucks because, you know, as like a family, we're kind of like, wow, how did we not see this coming? You know, like, because it makes, well, at least for me, it's like, oh my God, I feel like an idiot. How could I have supported this? But at the same time, it's like, you know, how could
I feel like narcissists can paint a really good picture sometimes, you know, and they come in and they paint this picture that is so beautiful and perfect that you're like, you can't help but believe it and be like, oh my gosh. I think all of us have been in that position where we've been fooled by somebody before that you really believed in, you know, and unfortunately in this position and for Kit, it was their parent, you know, it was their mom. That's the ultimate betrayal, right?
Lori Sue Nelson abandoned her apartment but left a trail of clues behind. We reached out to Charlotte for more details.
I don't know a whole lot about the cleanup that Lori did. People were smelling ammonia and bleach and stuff from outside of the apartment. And then after Lori like disappeared in the middle of the night and moved to Entiat, the landlords like went in to clean like really thoroughly and like in ways that they wouldn't normally. Floors being ripped up. There was a rumor that there was blood all over the apartment. Like somebody actually called us. It was Lori's sister. And her mom had said that there was blood everywhere, and that's when we found the mattress. So in the beginning of everything, we kind of found a mattress that appeared to have blood on it, and police picked it up, and they held it for, God, I don't even know how long. I know that they've tested it, and they've given us a result, but we can't really disclose that right now, because they said that it's still an ongoing investigation.
Did Lori have anything to do with Kit going missing? Could she have killed Kit?
If you have any information on Kit Mora, you're asked to call Omak County Police Department or reach out to the Finding Kit Facebook page. Links will be in the comments section below. Please help us find Kit Mora.